Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
I once watched a guy at a networking event work the room like a pro. Firm handshake, great eye contact. He asked thoughtful questions. You could tell the guy knew how to connect. But here's what I noticed. 6 months later, I saw him again. Same energy, same charm, same conversations, and the same problem. He hadn't built anything from all those interactions. It was like someone planting seeds and never coming back to water them. Because here's the truth, meeting people is easy. Following up, that's where the game is won. And today's guest, he's built a career and a system around exactly that. Dylan Connect is a full-time realtor, and I put emphasis on full-time. There are lots and lots of realtors in the Columbus market, and well, throughout the United States, not all of them are full-time. Business owner who started in real estate when he was just 18 years old. Growing up around the industry, he developed a deep understanding of how relationships, not transactions, how relationships drive success. Today, he leads the Apex Group and owns Remax Apex, which is a franchise, and they help clients across Central Ohio navigate buying, selling, investing in properties. What really sets Dylan apart is his practical, proven system for turning conversations into clients through consistent, meaningful follow-up. He's a member of AmSpirit. I saw his program. I was very inspired by it. It spoke to me as far as, okay, this is somebody who's just not trying to connect with people and just get referrals, hoping things happen. He's building relationships. He's got a whole system. So I'm like, okay, Dylan, I got to get you on here. So Dylan, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Frank. I've been really, really looking forward to today ever since we put it on the calendar.
You said something to me that really jumped out at me. Most people don't, you said most people don't have a lead problem. They have a follow-up problem. What are you seeing out there that makes you so confident that that's the real issue? I'm not arguing with you. Somebody might, right? I'm totally in line with what you're saying. But I could see where people are like, oh, no, it's, I'm just not getting good leads.
Absolutely, Frank. Well, specifically to real estate, I can, personally vouch, as I'm sure across the majority of industries, sales opportunities, opportunity is abundant. Whether it is trading your hard-earned dollars, your money for leads that you purchase. In real estate, it's super easy to purchase a buyer lead that is inquiring on a property online. They want to go look at it. Whether it is you have some established referral sources, you name it, there's so many ways to skin the cat and get opportunity. That opportunity oftentimes in sales looks like a name and some contact info and maybe a little bit about the problem that they're hoping you might be able to solve. That's the easy part, is to get that information. The hard part, or not even the hard part, but the part that time and time again I see sales professionals do, is they maybe reach out once, maybe twice. And if that person does not get back to them, set an appointment, or buy a product, they crumble that piece of paper, that fictional piece of paper up, they throw it in the trash, and they're on to the next hot lead. I think a lot of people in the world, but especially sales professionals, we get so distracted and taken off guard by that new shiny object that we think is going to make life so easy. It's going to make the sales process just the easiest thing. It's going to flow perfectly. But in reality, you probably just need to get into your database or your leads and talk to them a little bit more.
To me, it sounds like a game of attrition. I look at, we'll pick on real estate because you're a realtor, or use that as an example. You have two realtors, both with a follow-up game. The one who follows up better wins.
Yeah, every day of the week.
Because and the reason I say that is those leads are probably not sold to one person, or there's some sort of those companies, Zillow or whoever, they make their money on volume.
Absolutely. Yeah. In my field, the common lead, like we talked about, is someone clicking on a property because they want to go look at it or they have a question. If they're clicking on 123 Main Street on Zillow, they're probably clicking on a dozen other houses across all different websites they're searching on.
Yeah, that's well, I see that as some people lament having to go to open houses. And I always looked at it like that's a real opportunity because you have people, yeah, sure, you have people showing up with realtors, but you have a lot of people who don't, right? And so then they become part of the pipeline if you want them to.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. At the end, they all result in a conversation. And if you're being strategic with your conversations, you're using those conversations to fill your pipeline.
Yeah. So you mentioned that 80% of the deals happen after the fifth touch, and you just basically said, people quit after touch one or two. Why is it that people give up so early, and what does that cost them? I mean, I'm sure you see it in your own brokerage that you have agents who are giving up, and somebody's picking up those pieces. Those people are finding a home. I guess the question, why are they doing it, or why are they not doing it? Why are they not continuing on?
Yeah, I think the two main drivers behind that is so many people, especially in sales, they want instant gratification for everything. And then part B to that equation is the fear of that you're bugging them, that you're not actually coming forth with value. Um, as a real estate agent myself, I know that when I do get that opportunity to connect with that person that has a need or a problem that I can solve, I'm not bothering them. I'm adding value to their life and to whatever problem they're hoping to accomplish. And a lot of people just think, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to bug them again. They didn't answer the first time. They'll call me back if they need me.
Yeah, and they don't. In the meantime, the diligent realtor who's also bought that lead, the Dylan Connect is on to touch three, touch four, touch five, and ultimately gets the deal, right?
Absolutely.
Now, when you connect with people, reconnect with people, connect is the first connection, the second connection, the third, fourth, fifth. Do you have a cadence of different things you talk to them about? I mean, it's not always, hey, still looking for that house. It's what other sorts of things might you be connecting with people on?
Absolutely. Great question. Yeah. In that situation where they're inquiring on a house, my first couple of touches will probably be to try to facilitate getting them into that house. Um, but I can't use that as the only follow up forever. And I always try to come from with my database, whether it is a member of my database that has been in there for a long time, maybe it's already someone that knows, likes, and trusts me, or maybe it's a relatively new, let's call them a cold lead that does not yet know, like, and trust me. I'm always trying to hit them with value. And I know that you probably hear that all the time. Oh, well, you have to provide them value. Well, of course you do, but I feel like a lot of people don't elaborate on what does value look like.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
No, it's yeah,
first,
please elaborate. Yeah.
first off, when it comes to value, it needs to be authentic. Um, if me and Frank are both realtors in the same town, we might not necessarily be or if you're listening, we might not be the same person, whether that be, across a disc personality test, across life or professional experiences, or even just outlooks on how the home buying process, for example, should work. Um, so my value isn't necessarily going to be your value. My value, I pride myself on being kind of the local knowledge expert. So oftentimes my value is looking like letting my database know what is happening in our area that the average person probably doesn't know about. So where has there been proposed development sites could be one. For example, we have a few 100-acre farm up the street. It's obviously been a farm for a very long time. And very soon you're going to see announcements that is going to be mixed use apartments, condos, retail. But the average person doesn't know about that because they haven't read up on all the meeting minutes and stuff. So that's a great source of value when I can let our community know about something like that happening. Or it could even be a little more simplistic. In sales, I think simplicity is a very strong thing to use. So that could be as simple as sending out a note to everyone in the database to just let them know when trick or treat is this year, or when fireworks are happening. And you're going to save them maybe 10 minutes looking online trying to find it, and you give them that info before they even knew they needed it, and they value that.
Yeah, it's funny. You as you're talking there, I was thinking because there was somebody I was following up with, um, and I know that their daughter plays softball, and I just followed. That was just part of the equation, right? It's just, hey, what's happening? I think they're in the playoffs now, or maybe I don't know, but just that was just kind of the touch point. I don't need to be talking about business all the time. It's just, you know, what's happening that is important to you, and just kind of making it somewhat personal, if you would.
Absolutely.
All right. Here's where I want to spend a bunch of time. You have what I call a three bucket system: hot, warm, cold. How does that help someone stay organized and intentional instead of overwhelmed? I guess explain the bucket system, if you will. I just kind of fired it out, but if you can kind of explain that bucket system and how you work it, how you might encourage your team or other people to work a bucket system, a three bucket system.
Absolutely. So the three bucket system, at its most simple form, is a way to structure your follow up cadence. Um, I lived in the three bucket system for a very long time. One of my early mentors put it on to me because I was the salesperson with a sticky note here, a note in my iPhone here, maybe an old email that I never tracked here. And I needed a central place where all of my opportunities lived. Um, Again, I spent a long time using this system. It has evolved for me. It has a lot of automation now. It lives within my CRM at this point, but it's still the same system that I teach my new sales agents from day one, as to not overcomplicate things. Um, for me, this best lives on a spreadsheet. That way you can access it at any time from your phone, from your laptop, from your home workstation, or wherever. And as in the name, it's a three bucket system. There are cold leads, there are warm leads, there are hot leads. And the temperature of the lead dictates the cadence and how frequently I should be following up with them. And ideally, it sort of predicts what my pipeline is looking like. I know if there are a lot of opportunities living in the hot bucket, as long as I do my job correctly, the immediate future should look very good in terms of closings, which in turns are paychecks. I know that if the hot bucket is pretty thin, I have a lot of work to do, whether that is I need to go identify and create new hot opportunities that don't exist in my buckets, or do I need to be spending more time to see what I can do to either warm a lead up, but oftentimes you don't control how warm the lead is, at least in real estate, but it's who is maybe in my cold or warm bucket, but they should be in my hot bucket. Whether that's a life event that has happened that has changed their needs, but if they should be in my hot bucket and they're living in my cold bucket, I am not following up frequently enough, nor am I following up in the appropriate way. So, in an ideal world, a cold lead comes in, and if it's a referral, maybe it's a referral. I actually just got one from another member of our AmSpirit chapter, and it was, hey, this is someone I know, and they would like to purchase their first real estate investment. So a home not to live in, but instead to make cash flow off of. But they're still a few years out. So we've had preliminary conversations. I've answered questions. We've set a meeting and we've had it. But because of circumstances, they are a few years out. They are living in my cold bucket because that opportunity is not coming anytime soon. And realistically, I probably don't need to talk to them every single week for the next 3 years. But over time, that lead will, as we get closer, they will warm up. They'll become a warm lead. And when we get within maybe 6 months or so, and we are with the bank, we are pre-approved, and we are ready to start looking at properties and getting inspired, we are a hot lead. And if I have a hot lead and I, as a real estate agent, do not talk to them at minimum every single week, I am losing space in their top of mind awareness.
Yeah. What I what I like about your system, and it has applications across other things as well, is your three bucket system. Certainly with the hot buckets, it's telling you what to do. Maybe not point by point by point, but I guess what I'm saying is I see people losing a lot of energy trying to figure out what they should be doing, and they'll spend maybe an hour, maybe an afternoon trying to figure out what they should be doing, and then they have decision fatigue and they can't think about how to execute on that. They're literally worn out, so they end up doing nothing, and it goes to the next day, and they've got to really kind of start all over again. With your system, it's like, okay, here's my hot bucket system. I've got a menu of things I can hit them with, right? Hey, here's a bank that's got this new program that fits with you. Or, hey, here's the subdivision. Maybe we ought to hold off and wait, maybe build here or whatever. So you have a different menu, but you just know that, okay, I've got these people and I've got these possible touch points, and you just kind of go boom, 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 and it's done. And then it's on to trying to put more things in the cold bucket, or move from cold to warm to hot. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. Frank, I'd love to, I guess I can't speak to all industries, but I think real estate applies to a lot. And maybe if we do have a new realtor listening, I'd love to talk a little bit about the minimum cadence I would suggest within the bucket system.
please, yeah, go ahead.
So if whoever's listening, if you were sitting down with me and today was day one of our onboarding, and we've made the spreadsheet, which by the way, guys, it is the most simple spreadsheet you'll ever see. It's literally at the top, 3 columns, hot, warm, cold. You can put it in whatever order you'd like as long as warm is in the middle. And by the way, this next statement, I think it applies to every business owner or salesperson in general. But at minimum, everyone in the bucket system is getting, for me, an automated newsletter email once a month. I do it on the first of the month for consistency like clockwork. I think everyone should be utilizing that. It takes me no more or no less time depending on how many people are getting it. It's the same email template. It goes out to everyone. So everyone, no matter what bucket they're in, they're getting that email once a month. Now, my cold members, they are getting a personalized, which is a one-to-one interaction, whether that is someone that I see at an event or I make a phone call or we meet for a coffee or something of that fashion. Once a quarter, they are getting a personalized one-on-one interaction. The warm bucket, they're getting a personalized one-on-one interaction once a month. Whereas my hot bucket, that is the same cadence, but instead it is once a week at minimum. My prospects living in the hot bucket, or maybe the warmer side of the warm bucket, I'm also going out of my way to have as much interaction as possible, especially in a casual fashion. So that could be when I see them post on social media that something happened, instead of commenting and saying congratulations, maybe taking a step farther to an offline, congratulations, that's so awesome you're doing that. Maybe like Frank's earlier situation, they had the kid playing softball. Maybe I'm simply sending an article. Look at this new technology that is being involved in your interest. I thought you might like this article. So the warmer the lead, the more you want to interact, but that is the minimum cadence that I suggest you should do.
Those are things that when you get new agents on, I guess if agents listening, if you're looking for somebody to work with, Central Ohio, Dylan is somebody you could work with. But those are things you're coaching your people to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think so many agents that I talk to, they actually, a lot of them have a very impressive database, whether that's past clients or whether they're just a likable, popular person. They're just so overwhelmed. They're like, who do I talk to? How often do I talk to them? What do I talk to them about?
Right.
So I want my new agents from day one, as we're building out that database, I want them simultaneously building out their skills for nurturing the database and getting those good habits in place early. And those are the minimum habits I suggest. The more communication, the better. Very rarely are you going to over communicate and lose out on anything besides maybe you wasted a little too much time. But that's the bare minimum for how often you should be interacting with each bucket, in my opinion.
Yeah, I released a podcast this week. I talked about assumptions, and that we make horrible assumptions about people. We assume that we're going to bug somebody. In reality, we're not, right? In reality, that could be the very thing they need. Or we assume we're not going to introduce people because, I'm not going to introduce this person in my warm bucket to a potential lender who's got this new program because, well, they probably already know. And that's a horrible assumption because they might know, but at least you're still thinking about them. If they don't know, it could be the best thing that moves them from warm to hot. And we get caught up in these assumptions and don't know, well, I don't want to bug these people. So anyhow. So for someone listening right now, realtor, whatever, who know that they have people that they should follow up with, but haven't, what's the first step they should take today?
The first step they should take today, if the calendar is already too full today, which would be awesome. Maybe you're writing a lot of business at the moment, but you should right now put a time block in your calendar this for me is my lead generation or my follow-up time. And you should do your best to get that as a standing spot in your calendar. For example, in real estate, there are a lot of things that can't be moved. I can't move a closing date once it's there. I can't move a home inspection once it's there. You can't move a lot of things. They have to happen. And if they don't happen, it's considered late. Air quotes on that for those of you listening. Lead generation or follow-up, you can always move it, and very rarely is there an immediate consequence. But if you're not consistent with it, or if you're like, I have a pretty light day tomorrow, I definitely should do some follow-up or some lead generation. If that is not in your calendar and that is not guarded as much as, for example, Frank, I've had this in my calendar since we scheduled it, and I don't schedule anything else at this time. It's a commitment. My follow-up is the same thing, and it is equally as important. But so many people think that they have the luxury of just moving it because something better came up. At the end of the day, if you're in sales, follow-up is probably the amount of the activity that you spend that you get the highest return on your time for.
What I have found, just me personally, is I will work on follow-up. And we live in a beautiful time because you can do an email and you can schedule to go out later. So there was a time where I would spend a couple hours on Sunday getting ready with different follow-up, the one-to-one stuff, and then just let it drip out throughout the week, knowing when it would hit best for people. Because I knew that Sunday, while the game was on, there's a lot of time between plays in football, right? You can get an email done, right? And I never had to worry about something conflicting with that. Somebody in your world scheduling a closing Sunday afternoon. I'm sure it happens, but it doesn't happen often. So that's what I would do. I guess closing, let's change gears. How can people help you? If you're a realtor, you want to work with somebody, Dylan's certainly an option for you. What other things can people, or speak more to that if you want? Floor is yours.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that, Frank. I appreciate the opportunity to share this. I wear two main hats in my professional life. Hat one is I am a full service, full-time real estate agent. I have been for the past 10 years doing it at the highest level. In me and my team, we personally service clients. If you took Columbus, Ohio on a map and you went about an hour to an hour 15 in all directions, I'm fortunate enough to have a really strong team behind me. So, for example, my brother works with me full time. He lives about 30 minutes southeast of me. So it's very easy for us to pick up a client that is maybe an hour, hour and a half southeast of me because Nick is right there. So clients, whether they are buyers or sellers, or we help a lot of investors as well. I invest in real estate personally. Or maybe you're not in real estate and you just need me to help connect you or a trusted loved one of your own with a professional in your city. I would be happy to vet and connect you with someone, and then I can receive some financial benefits for doing that and connecting you with a trusted real estate professional. Hat number two that I wear is I am a leader and a mentor in the real estate space. So if you or someone you know is in real estate and you're looking to either get into the industry or take that next step in the industry, so whether you're wanting to go from 0 closings to 10, you want to go from a closing a month to multiple every month, or you want to scale and you want to lead a team like I am doing hundreds of closings a year, I've done it and I want to help you. I have an education platform I can get you connected on. I do take coaching students. as well on a one-to-one basis. And then in addition to that, if you are practicing or plan to practice real estate in Central Ohio, I would very much welcome the opportunity to get together and see if we may potentially be able to do business together.
What's a good way to get a hold of you? Email, your website, what works best?
Absolutely. I would love if we could connect on social media. So I will give you my Instagram handle, and then I'll also give my email for someone that maybe is active on social media. So my Instagram handle, you can simply follow, you can message me. But my Instagram handle is dylanconnect.realtor, and I'll spell that out real quick. It's DYLANKNECHT.REALTOR. And then my email address is Dylan, DYLAN, at soldapex, SOLDAPEX.com.
I will get those in the show notes. I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. This has been great. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you.
Great conversation with Dylan. I knew it would be from the moment I saw him present at his chapter meeting. But let's go back to my original story, that guy at the networking event. Remember the guy at the networking event? He wasn't doing anything wrong. He just wasn't finishing what he started. Because relationships, just like anything worthwhile, don't grow from a single moment. They grow from consistent attention, from showing up, from remembering, from following up. Dylan gave us a playbook, not theory, practice, something we can implement. Nothing clever. It's just consistency and having a game plan. So here's the question, and it's a simple one. Who is already in your world that you've forgotten to water? Using my plant metaphor. Because the next opportunity, the next referral, the next client, the next great person is probably not out there somewhere. It's probably sitting in your phone right now, or however you manage your contacts. Sitting there right now waiting for you to reach out.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AMSPIRIT.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connections. All rights reserved.